Listen closely, because this begins in a place most legends don't. A small village in southwestern Nigeria. A boy who would not own a pair of shoes until he was 18. A hunger for numbers so fierce it chased him through the halls of universities. And then a turn. A turn from the chalkboard to the pulpit. From equations to encounters. From solving for X to calling down rain on parched hearts. This is the rise of Enoch Adeboye and the Redeemed Christian Church of God. A journey that takes us from a classroom desk to a prayer city humming day and night, from a handful of parishes to a map crowded with red pins, from whispers to a monthly roar of worship on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Today we track the footprints. We separate myth from memory. And we ask the question millions quietly ask. How did a quiet mathematician become Daddy Geo? And how did Redeemed become, quite simply, a world within the world? Chapter 1. Ifwara. Red earth after rain. The hum of insects. Children learning to sound out the day. In 1942, Enoch Adeboye is born in this village, in what was then the southern region, British Nigeria, now Osun State. The stories of his early life are not polished, they are honest. The boy who would later lead millions begins without the things many take for granted, marking time with bare feet and a restless brain. He falls in love with mathematics the way some fall in love with music, drawn to its order, its certainty, its silent beauty. In the 1950s, he studies at Elisa Grammar School, then sets his sights higher. University of Nigeria, Nsukka. The Civil War disrupts his path, so he completes his bachelor's in mathematics at the University of Ife in 1967. Not satisfied, he presses on. A master's degree in hydrodynamics in 1969, and 6 years later, a PhD in applied mathematics at the University of Lagos. Teaching posts follow, chalk squeaks on slate, equations blossom and resolve. The dream, then, is not a pulpit. It is to break records in academia, to be the youngest vice-chancellor in Nigeria. But there is another script being written, one he cannot yet see. Chapter 2. The year is 1973. Sundays have a rhythm now. Hymns, prayers, sermons that flow in Yoruba. A young university lecturer begins to attend the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG. Then a small indigenous Pentecostal movement, founded in 1952, by a man named Josiah Olufemi Akindayomi. The lecturer's gift is obvious. He stands beside the founder and translates, line by line, heart to heart, Yoruba to English. At first, he is merely a bridge. Soon, he becomes a road. In 1975, he is ordained a pastor. His name is Enoch Adeboye. He keeps lecturing, keeps interpreting, keeps learning to hear God in the spaces between sentences. The story later told is simple. Long before the young lecturer ever walked through the church doors, the founder believed the Spirit had pointed out a successor. Young, educated, not yet even a member. When Adeboye arrives, the old man recognizes what he had been shown. A seed takes root. A handover is foretold. The interpreter is being prepared to speak for himself. Chapter 3. In 1980, the founder of RCCG, Pa Akindayomi, passes away. The following year, the sealed instruction naming the successor is read, and the mantle falls. Adeboye becomes general overseer in 1981. It is not a coronation, it is a crossroads. He will spend several years balancing academia and ministry, traveling, preaching, managing a growing congregation, and then, finally, he takes the leap into full-time ministry. The church he inherits is not yet a global force. It is earnest, devoted, distinctly Nigerian, shaped by the life of its founder. Adeboye's vision is audacious in its simplicity. In every city, a parish within 5 minutes walk. In every developed area, a parish within 5 minutes drive. The strategy is not merely spiritual. It is logistical, almost mathematical, a network-designed problem solved with hymns and hustle. Under his leadership, RCCG multiplies, from a handful of parishes to thousands, from a local fellowship to a global family with presence across continents. What looked like a detour from the chalkboard becomes a masterclass in scale. Chapter 4. You stand on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway at night, and you hear it before you see it. A river of people, cars, buses, prayers rising like heat. This is the Holy Ghost service, a monthly all-night meeting that becomes a movement within the movement. As crowds swell beyond what a Butte Meta can carry, the RCCG headquarters yields to a bolder idea. An expanse of land along the expressway, what would become Redemption Camp, later Redemption City. The monthly rhythm begins to crystallize. First Friday, open heavens, testimonies that cut through cynicism like sunrise through fog. In March each year, a longer gathering, special Holy Ghost service, turns the expressway into a pilgrimage route. The program is both old-school revival and new-school organization, a meeting that uses microphones and megawatts to amplify a simple promise, that God still visits his people. The historian will note the dates and decisions. The first-timers will remember the atmosphere, the palpable hush just before the choir starts. The mathematician at the helm watches God do what numbers alone cannot. Chapter 5. Cities are not built only with concrete. They are built with meaning. The land that swallowed 6,000 naira and a vision becomes a place of clinics and classrooms, dorms and auditoriums, streets named after Bible stories. Over time, Redemption Camp ceases to be only a camp. It functions like a town with its own pulse, its own skyline of tents and tabernacles, its own moonlit traffic on Holy Ghost nights. In August 2022, a name change recognizes what the people already know. It is no longer merely a camp. It is Redemption City. Names matter because they tell you what a thing has become. The renaming is a statement of scale and intent, a public declaration that a prayer meeting has grown into an ecosystem. Critics will debate. Faithful will celebrate. But on the ground, life goes on. Children attend school, worship rises, lights flicker on as dusk slides across Ogun State. The city, like the church, keeps expanding, one service, one soul, one small miracle at a time. Chapter 6. Every leader's story carries a shadow. For Adeboye, joy and sorrow have walked side by side. Married to Folu since December 1967, blessed with 4 children, he has often credited his wife's steadiness with anchoring his life and ministry. Then, May 2021 arrives like a storm. Their son, Pastor Adeboye, passes in his sleep at 42 in Ekit, where he was pastoring. The news shocks a nation accustomed to seeing the family as almost invulnerable, protected by a hedge of prayer and purpose. On the first Friday after the tragedy, the general overseer stands before his people and refuses to curse the dark. He speaks of God's sovereignty, asks the faithful to say, "It is well," and models a peculiar kind of strength, soft voice, steady hands, eyes that have wept and will yet minister. The life of faith is not a life without pain. It is a life that keeps faith in pain. The church learns this lesson not from a sermon, but from the way a father grieves. Chapter 7. Under Adeboye, RCCG's footprint stretches across nations and territories, its Nigerian base alone counting millions of adherents. Campuses and parishes become beacons for diaspora communities, sanctuaries where Nigerians in London or Houston or Johannesburg sing the same songs they sang back home. Growth brings questions. Some scholars and observers label Adeboye a preacher of the prosperity gospel. He does not flinch from the implication that God cares about the here and now as well as the hereafter. To some, this is hope. to others a hazard. The debate is not new, and it will not end soon. Yet even in the thick of critique, the work continues. Donations to hospitals, scholarships, food drives, acts of mercy that often escape headline gravity. The monthly services continue, the city grows, and the mathematics of ministry, the complex calculus of budgets, buses, and believers, unfolds with relentless regularity. To understand it, you must step past caricatures and into the data. Parishes multiplied, missionaries trained, local communities served. To feel it, you must stand under a night sky at Redemption City as hundreds of thousands lift a chorus, and for a heartbeat, the world feels stitched back together.